to see you again.
Hello, Mr. Rotsios. Thank you very much for your invitation. I think you have a real reward for me, so I hope I don't disappoint you, and I will try to do my best. Okay, so I will start to share my presentation. It's okay.
Yes, yes, we can see it.
Okay. Well, it's kind of related to what we've seen before. Something related to the marketing, something related to the brand. So, but let me show you a different point of view of the product of the olive oil. My presentation start with the quality as way to creating profits and sustainability in the Spanish traditional olive grow, which means from the olive grow to the market. Okay, so I will start having the characteristic of the traditional olive grove in Spain versus the characteristic of the hedgerow olive grove in Spain, which is in the traditional way we have a plantation framework from 70 to 120 olive trees per hectare, rather than over 200 to 1,200 olive trees per hectare in the hedgerow olive grove. Let me have a real quick here break point, trying to explain the difference between traditional, intensive, and super intensive olive grove in Spain. I guess all over, but I'm talking about Spain, the Spanish way of name it. The traditional goes, as I said before, between 70 to 120. And in the intensive, we have two different steps, which is intensive and high density. And both of them are between 200 and 1,200. And the super intensive, it will go up to 2,500 more or less. So besides that, I would say that the traditional olive grove in Spain are taking labor intensive and semi-mechanization tasks for harvesting, fertilizers, and tilling the soil, rather than the hedgerow, which is have all mechanization tasks. So we don't have a labor intensive in this kind of olive grove. The average production between the traditional and the hedgerow are 3,000 to 6,000. We have between 3,000 and 6,000 average production in the traditional way, and in the hedgerow we will go up to 12,000 kilograms per hectare. We have a high cost production in the traditional way. It starts in 2.18 euros per kilogram of olive oil. It will reach up to 3.52. Let me say that I would say that 80% of the olive groves are between 2.18 to under 3.0. The 3.52 euros kilogram per olive oil are the olive groves that are in the mountains with a high lobe and very hard to manage. In the other side, we have the hedgerow production cost, which is 1.49 to 1.90, which is real low, real distance between the traditional one. Also, the production, 90% of the production of the traditional olive grove are Lampante olive oil. And in the other hand, you have the 90% of the production, which is extra virgin in the hedgerow. The traditional one is focused on production rather than quality, and the hedgerow is focused on the production cost and also on the quality by the way of harvesting. There's one more difference between them, which is the common agricultural policy that the traditional olive grove has and the hedgerow doesn't. So, but in the way of the traditional grove, it will go lower every year. So we have to have that in mind. So if we see the prices of the last 11 years between the Lampante and the extra virgin, and the highest and the lowest, we have a huge difference. So we have a market with a very high gap between the lowest and the higher. In the low chart, we have the Lampante. It's been under the break-even 6 year over 11 in the traditional way, and in the extra virgin with the hedgerow don't have any of the years under the break-even. So that means that the traditional olive row is hard to manage in the way of the profits. So taking an example of our traditional olive grove, we have the 7 years data in these slides. So let me show you how is our plantation. We have 150 years old. The plantation framework is 10 to 10, which is almost 100 olive trees per hectare. We have drip water systems since 1982. Since then, the production went double. The average production is 5,837 kilograms of olive oil of olives per hectare, and we have an average olive yield 22.83. The Lampante olive oil sale price that we had the last 7 years, the average one was 2.43, and the production cost, the average production cost was 2.49. So obviously we are under the break-even. So why we don't leave the olive row? Because we have the CAP grants that make us the profits of 0.77 euros per kilogram of olive oil. So that's why the traditional olive grove versus the hedgerow olive grove, that's the dilemma that we have in Spain. So that's why the traditional olive grove is not profitable, as we saw before. And the European community has established the CAP, so farmers don't leave the olive groves. But some of them are looking forward to the hedgerow, mostly in a larger states, which is more profitable. And only a few of them are changing the model based on the quality and branding vertical integration, which is what I'm gonna talk right now. A model based on a quality and branding vertical integration. So the question is, make an olive grove conversion to a hedgerow or keep the traditional way? Maintaining the traditional olive grove means sustainability of the way of the way of life of small village, which is very important. We're talking about village that have 1,000 or less population, but it must be profitable. So how can we do that? We only have two ways, which is decreasing the production cost, and I believe there's no way because the cost structure is probably 99% fixed, or increasing the prices, which is no way also because we have a free trade market. It's not a free trade market itself, but because we have many sellers, only a few buyers, but it works like a free trade market. But if we don't have the ability to decrease the production costs or increase the prices, what can we do? Well, we can have a difference. We can work on a differentiation of the product based on the quality and based on the brand. On the quality, based on the early harvest model with a cold extraction and filtering and storage in a protected atmosphere that will keep the best of the olive oil. Also adding a brand with an with a vertical integration, which means that the farmers will also own the mills, the bottling plant, and the final product. So everything is under control of the farmer. Why can we do that? Because quality itself does not make the traditional olive groves profitable, because the difference between Lampante and extra virgin late harvest of course is only 0.34 euros kilogram of olive oil the last 11 years. So that means that if we only work on the quality, talking about the late harvest, we won't be profitable at all. So we have to change their mind, and we need to go to work through the value chain of the vertical integration in order to generate greater profits. So the steps are, the first one is to have a early harvest concept. I don't know if everybody knows what early harvest concept, which is extra virgin with a huge different product between the late harvest. We need a brand, we need a story to tell related to the brand, and we need to work along the entire value chain with the same goal in mind. And also the last one, which is, I believe is the hardest one, is sell by educating. In Spain, olive oil is treated as a commodity product. So that means that the consumer don't know about the brand, don't care about the brand, don't care about the quality. They just buy olive oil or extra virgin or virgin olive oil, and they just feel comfortable with that. And we have to tell them that we have another product related with the olive oil, which is a gourmet product at an early harvest, that if you taste it, is quite different from what you are used to. So also you have to tell the consumers that you have to pay 4, 5, 6 times what you are paying for the extra virgin or the virgin late harvest. So we have to manage how the consumer is going to think about the new product. So to try to reach the maximum price range of the market with 16 euros per half-liter bottle, which means selling the extra virgin olive oil at 12 euros per liter. But this is not easy because the market is not used, as I said before, to highest quality or higher price. So that's the crux of the matter. My concern is that when people taste the early harvest and you explain to them what early harvest means, and you explain to them how high cost is the early harvest, they pay for the difference between the late and the early, because the consumer appreciate what the early harvest means. But it's a hard, tough to do, and it's a quite important thing to work on it. So in these pictures, we can see how the traditional olive groves are in Spain. We can see how the color of the early harvest product is, the green color because of the early harvest, how we're taking care of the olives in the soil with the blanket. And as I said before, quality is the only way of creating profits and sustainability in the Spanish traditional olive grove. Many thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Arturo, for sharing your experiences with us. We keep